arrived in the country before the ban took effect. They are under monitoring for possible symptoms of the virus.
Nung binaba po ng IATF yung resolution para po sa Omicron virus natin, inutusan po ang BOQ kasama po ang DILG na i-trace yung mga nakauwi within 7 days po doon sa mga countries na affected ng Omicron. So based po doon sa pag-verify namin, sa pag-trace po namin, may 64 po tayo na 64 na presently nasa quarantine po, nagka-quarantine, and may 11 po tayo na nakauwi na sa LGU.
Among those under monitoring is an overseas Filipino worker in quarantine in Bacolod City. The BOQ says he has no symptoms so far, but he will be swabbed tomorrow to check for infection. Meantime, the country has not yet detected Omicron, according to health spokesperson Maria Rosario Vergere. She says they're still processing the next batch of samples for genome sequencing. The discovery of Omicron has rattled international travel once again, prompting dozens of countries to impose restrictions. Amid the uncertainties, the Philippines temporarily suspended its plan to welcome foreign tourists. Our senior correspondent, David Santos, reports.
The country has to continue to keep its doors shut to foreign tourists, at least for now. This despite earlier announcements that the country is ready to welcome back fully vaccinated tourists starting December 1. Now, these tourists should have come from non-visa required as well as green list countries and territories like China, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. But as many parts of the globe are closing borders in response to the Omicron variant, Filipino experts say it would be best to suspend the reopening of our tourism industry to foreign travelers. In the weekly media forum Kapihan sa Manila Bay, Tourism Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat points out that the delay will just be temporary.
Kaya temporarily, we didn't want to say close siya hanggang December 15. We didn't want to say that. Kasi malay natin, if okay naman, we could announce December 8, magbubukas na tayo. So, we have to see muna how it goes.
The Tourism Department, however, is optimistic the global concern over Omicron will not affect travel plans of our kababayans. In December 2019, over 109,000 balikbayans came home for the holidays. That went down to only about 20,000 in the same period last year, a sharp decline, largely attributed to travel restrictions amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The DOT is hoping the widespread vaccination and reduced quarantine period for inbound travelers would encourage more kababayans to be home for Christmas. David Santos, CNN Philippines.
Overseas, Israel is optimistic current vaccines will work against a new variant. Studies are ongoing to find out its possible effects on vaccine efficacy, but some manufacturers have also begun developing Omicron-specific shots.
Soon mula in the coming days, we will have more accurate information about the efficacy of the vaccine against Omicron. But there is already room for optimism. And there are initial indications that those who are vaccinated with a vaccine still valid or with a booster will also be protected from the variant.
Israel has so far recorded 4 Omicron infections, one of them a doctor who traveled to London. He had negative PCR tests before leaving and upon arrival in Israel, but he infected a fellow doctor upon returning to work. This is the country's first confirmed case of community spread. Japan identifies its second case of the Omicron variant, a man in his 20s who arrived in Tokyo from Peru on Saturday. Peru, though, has yet to officially report a case of the new variant. The man is under quarantine. And South Korea puts its reopening plans on hold amid fears of the new variant. The country logged over 5,000 infections on Tuesday, its highest daily spike yet. Officials are checking at least 2 suspected Omicron cases and will form a task force to respond to the variant. The government is looking at extending the vaccination campaign until the end of the week. Vaccine czar Carlito Galvez says the target is not limited to 9 million and everyone who wants to get inoculated should be able to do so. Galvez adds local governments are free to expand the campaign. Health Secretary Francisco Duque says the government may not reach the 9 million mark within 3 days. For the past 2 days, more than 5 million people got their COVID shots, the biggest since vaccinations began in March.
So when we're able to give the battle rhythm to our LGUs, pwede na lang ituloy-tuloy yun, even without asking us na magkaroon ng extension. But we will announce na we will extend yung ating vaccination program until Friday.
Officials say vaccine hesitancy remains a problem in some regions. While many in Calabarzon are also hesitant to get their COVID shots, officials are confident they were able to hit the 3-day target. And as Chrissy de Matulac reports, the vaccination drive carries on.
Nieves Piñol contracted COVID-19 last September. She also suffers from high blood pressure. She's relieved that she finally received her vaccine against the virus.
Hinaha po kasi ako. Naka-schedule na dapat ako nung nakaraan. Pinauwi ako dahil sinabi kong maiha po ako.
Piñol is one of many who participated in the 3-day national vaccine drive in Santa Rosa, Laguna. In areas outside Metro Manila, people flock to vaccination sites, hoping for protection against the disease, especially with the Christmas season just around the corner.
Medyo may takot noong una. Kasi nga doon sa social media na mga lumalabas na baka lalong lumala yung kondisyon.
If they are vaccinated, you are almost relaxed. They can go anywhere.
In Santa Rosa, a multi-purpose gym served as one of the main vaccination sites for the first and second doses of the general and pediatric population. The city also vaccinated people from other areas.
Maraming dumating po sa panawagan namin dito sa National Vaccination Days. So last November 29, yung first day po natin, lahat ng ating vaccination sites ay open. So gather po kami, usually first doses po yan, almost 15,000 jobs. Okay? Yung second day po, kahapon naka 10,000 kami. So expect din namin ngayon na talagang ganun din yung magiging turnout or more. So mga 10,000.
According to the Health Department, the 3-day national event had a positive turnout. They are confident they have achieved their 1 million target in the Calabarzon region.
Systematic siya. So, yung mga tao, tahimik na naghihintay for their turn para mabakunahan sila.
Vaccine hesitancy remains a challenge in the country's vaccination efforts, but authorities have also cited logistical issues. City health officials here say they will not stop with the national vaccination drive. Even when the 3-day event is over, they will continue to administer shots to the unvaccinated. The government also plans to mount another wave of vaccination soon. In Santa Rosa, Laguna, Chrissy de Matulac, CNN Philippines.
All Filipino adults who completed their COVID shots or primary shots at least 6 months ago may now get booster doses this month. Presidential Advisor for COVID Response, Vince Dizon, confirmed this to CNN Philippines. The Food and Drug Administration also said booster doses will be available to the adult general population since the emergency use authorization applications have been approved on Monday. It adds the approved vaccine brands are the same brand combinations recommended for healthcare workers, senior citizens, and immunocompromised individuals.
DOH is just finalizing the guidelines, but we have already decided, because we already have enough supply, both already in country and forthcoming in the coming weeks and months, that boosters for everyone will be open if you are already 6 months and beyond, especially given the threat of Omicron looming over the entire world.
Health Undersecretary Mirna Cabotajes said in a government briefing that guidelines will be out in the next couple of days. The FDA, meanwhile, has yet to process any application for the emergency use of vaccines for children. FDA Chief Eric Domingo says Pfizer already signified its intention to file an application for those 5 to 11 years old, but it has yet to submit the requirements. Sinovac, on the other hand, initially applied for the use of its vaccine for 3 to 17 years old, but was later asked to submit additional supporting information on the safety and efficacy of the vaccine for children. Domingo says experts are extra cautious in approving COVID vaccines for children as they might need a different dose.
Siyempre, pag 5 to 11, una-una yung experts natin medyo mas mabusisi sila, no? Kasi maliliit na yung bata, no? Yung 11-year-old pababa. Pagkatapos, may possibility rin kasi na iba na rin yung dosage, no? Unlike adolescents 12 to 17 who are mostly adult size na rin naman. So yung 5 to 11, we just have to make sure din kung ano yung dosage na gagamitin. Kaya medyo mas maingat lang tayo ng kaunti.
The FDA hopes applications for emergency use of vaccines for children will be submitted within the month as the government aims to begin inoculation of children aged 11 and below by early next year. Up ahead, Senator Bongo yet to formally withdraw his presidential bid after saying he's backing out from the race. And the Miss World pageant is only a few weeks away. Find out where you can watch Coronation Night. Stay tuned.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutri-Chunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks. Kabilang ba kayo sa mga Pilipino na nahihirapan sa mga transaksyon dahil wala o kulang ang mga valid IDs?
Huwag nang mag-alala dahil narito na po ang PhilSys, ang identification system ng bawat Pilipino.
Mayroon lamang pong 3 steps para makapagrehistro at makakuha ng PhilID. Para sa Step 1 registration, pumunta lang sa register.philsys.gov.ph para makapag-register sa PhilSys online.
Sa pamamagitan ng ID natin, ang bawat Pilipino ay meron ng valid proof of identity.
At mas mapapadali na ang ating mga public and private transactions. Kaya ano pang hinihintay nyo?
Ayaan na sina nanay, tatay at ang buong pamilya. At mag-register na.
Ito ang PhilSys, ID natin to.
Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Bandunya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran. Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Saludo ako sa Pilipino.
Beer call muna tayo. Beer call muna tayo. Kahit kailan, walang iwanan. Beer call muna tayo. Beer call muna tayo.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. Senator Bongo has yet to formally withdraw his candidacy for president, but he says his decision is final. He'll back out of the race to Malacanang. Our Amor Santos joins us live for the details. Amor, go ahead.
That's right, my Senator Bongo. There's no date yet on when he will officially withdraw his presidential bid. He says there's no need to rush and he wants to do it without fanfare. He appeals to his supporters and to the media not to stake out at the COMELEC. He says he's having mixed emotions now. He has peace of mind, but at the same time feels bad for his supporters. The lawmaker says he's out of the presidential race and he's not changing his mind. On who will be President Duterte's anointed successor, Go says the chief executive will choose whoever can continue his programs.
As a matter of principle po, alam mo, kung ano na po yung sinabi ko kahapon, yun na po yung nasa sa loobin ko. At bagamat napakabigat na desisyon, ay kailangan ko talagang magsakripisyo po mula. Ayaw kong pangunahan si Pangulong Duterte. At kung tinanggal niyo na po ako dyan sa listahan, 5 po yan. So hayaan na lang po natin ang ating Pangulo kung sino yung napupusuan niya.
IG Secretary Alfonso Cusi, president of the PDP Laban faction where Go and Duterte belong, says party members will be consulted about their next move. Cusi says PDP Laban respects Go's decision and the party now needs to move forward. In a message to party members, their Secretary General Melvin Matibag says PDP Laban will overcome challenges of the political climate and emerge victorious in the 2022 elections. Go earlier substituted the standard bearer of PDDS, an allied party of PDP Laban. Party President Greco Belhica says the group is also discussing plans moving forward. Back to you.
Amor, is it possible for President Duterte to choose Senator Pacquiao, who's from another faction in PDP Laban?
Well, Mai, that would unify the ruling party, and Senator Bongo is not ruling out that possibility. He only said that the President Duterte has the final say. The Cusi faction in PDP Laban will make its endorsement, and President Duterte, as their chairman, will most likely adopt it. Cusi and other PDP Laban officials still have no response regarding this. Mai?
Thank you, Amor Santos there reporting. With Senator Bongo withdrawing from the presidential race, will President Duterte's endorsement of another aspirant translate to votes come May 2022? Our correspondent Stanley Gahete takes a look at possible scenarios.
37-year-old Rona Rodriguez benefits from a chain of government, medical and financial services called Malasakit Center in relation to health complications arising from her pregnancy.
Medyo may problema sa pagbubuntis ko eh. Siyempre may mga babayaran, di ba? So, tinuro nila ako sa Malasakit Center. Wala rin akong binayaran.
The one-stop shop is a brainchild of Senator Bongo, and Rona associates it with the lawmakers' decision to quit the presidential race.
Sayang, at least marami pa rin siyang matutulungan pag naging presidente siya.
Political analyst Dennis Blanco says, while Go was instrumental in the setting up of over 150 Malasakit centers nationwide, the lawmaker cannot bank on public support for the program to bring in the votes.
The awareness of the people about Bongo only came into fruition during the 2016 national election. He was the presidential aide. I think the endorsement of the presidency to Bongo is not transferable. It's not an assurance or a guarantee that Bongo would win if he's the recipient of that endorsement.
Now that Senator Bongo is no longer in contention for presidency, who among aspirants will get President Duterte support? And will his endorsement make a difference? Blanco sees two possible scenarios that may influence the president's choice.
I think the president would grant the endorsement towards Bongbong and the Lakas CMD and the Unity Party that where Sara Duterte belongs, on the premise that her daughter is there. If that's not possible, now he would probably coalesce or even provide the endorsement to the Manny Pacquiao, PDP Laban faction or the PROMD. No? Again, on the basis of their regional affiliation, of their ethno-linguistic similarities, now Mindanao and Visayan vote.
Blanco says Senator Manny Pacquiao and Mr. Duterte have no ideological differences, so it's possible he may support another bet from Mindanao. He adds, there's a little chance for the president to endorse Senator Ping Lacson or Manila Mayor Isko Moreno.
I think it's a long shot.
Lacking leads at this point, the administration may be hard-pressed to make its next move less than 6 months into the election. But Blanco says, one thing's for sure.
In a game of politics, no, it's a game of numbers. No? So if you solicit or get the endorsement of the president, that's an added value or dimension to your candidacy of winning the presidency.
Stanley Guete, CNN Philippines.
Presidential aspirant Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and his running mate Sara Duterte Carpio woo potential voters in the province of Quezon. The son and namesake of the late dictator had failed to gain the majority of the votes there during his 2016 vice presidential run. Incumbent President Rodrigo Duterte also fell short of winning the province's support back then. Marcos promised to provide jobs to fresh graduates during his visit.
Bawat taon, nag-graduate tayo ng higit ng 1 milyon na college graduate dito sa Pilipinas. Mga 1.2 million. Lahat ng 1.2 million na yan ay hahanapan natin ng trabaho.
Meanwhile, senatorial aspirant Jinggoy Estrada says he is running under the Marcos Duterte ticket. Estrada, who has a pending plunder case, is hoping to make a comeback after losing in the 2019 midterm polls. Presidential aspirant Vice President Leni Robredo is in the province of Catanduanes to attend various activities. Meanwhile, her daughter, Aika, led a lugaw feeding activity in Quezon City where she took the opportunity to address mothers and other members of the community.
Minsan sinasabi nila, di ba, na ang babae daw mahina, ang nanay daw nasa bahay lang. Pero ako po bilang anak, di ba pag may problema tayo, yung unang tinatakbuhan natin parating nanay. At sa tingin ko po, marami tayong problema ngayon, may COVID at napakarami pang iba. Tingin ko yung may pinaka-maayos na unang tatakbuhan din natin para sa ating solusyon ay nanay din.
Presidential aspirant Manila Mayor Isko Moreno was in Nueva Ecija today where he said he would welcome the possible endorsement of President Duterte or the Makabayan Bloc. Tech company Google announces it will not accept election-related ads during the campaign period for the 2022 national polls. Google says the policy will run from February 8, 2022 until Election Day on May 9. The move covers election advertisements purchased through Google Ads, Display, and Video 360, as well as shopping platforms that advertisers intend to place on Google and YouTube. Straight ahead, nearly outshining the holiday season, pageant season is almost upon us. Find out where you can watch the Miss World Coronation Night. And this Korean star is set to play a fan favorite on a remake of the viral series Money Heist. Details when we come back.
Pandemic, serving others is the best. Sa pagtutulungan, patuloy ang ating laban sa buhay. Kaya dapat always healthy. With proper diet, exercise, and MX3 coffee mix to ignite my day. Hi guys! Lagi akong focused, active, at MX Extraordinary. Because the most important things in life deserve nothing less. MX3 coffee mix, my choice.
6 na taong serbisyong may tatak ng tapang at malasakit. Inuuna ang ating kaligtasan, seguridad, kapayapaan at kapakanan ng mga nangangailangan. Matatag, may paninindigan at tapat sa bayan. Ibinuhos ang lahat para sa Pilipino, para sa maliwanag na kinabukasan at tungo sa pag-angat ng bawat mamamayan. Ito ang Duterte Legacy.
Napakahalaga ng savings kasi pag dumating ang pagkakataon na ikaw ay nasa kibit kalagayan, di ba, ma-hospital ka o magkasakit ka dito lang sa bahay, kailangan ng pera. Meron kang ipon, anytime pwede ka makapag-withdraw. Matatagpuan yung tindahan ko malapit dito sa Cebuana. Dito po ako naguhulog araw-araw. Kasi gusto ko nga po makaipon para sa aking mga anak, para sa sarili ko, sa darating na araw ng buhay ko. Kaya sinikap po talagang mag-ipon.
Ako po ay may sariling bike, may sidecar. Dadaling ko po yun sa palengke, tapos doon po, may marami na po akong suki doon na binibigay nila yung karton nila sa akin. At yun po, yung mga binibenta ko. Hindi naman alam ng mga anak ko na may nakatabi akong pera. Yun po yung inunti-unti namin na ginamit pang araw-araw na pagkain namin nung talagang pandemic.
Stay in ako dito bilang isang sales clerk sa auto supply shop. Basta pag sasahod ako, dadaling ko doon sa Cebuana, niipon ko yon. Mas maganda pag nandoon yung pera mo, hindi mo basta-basta magastos, tapos syempre nakokontrol mo siya. Hindi tulad pag hawak-hawak mo lang. Sa hirap ng buhay, kailangan mong kumayod at Kailangan mag-ipon.
Siyempre, kailangan mo pa rin tumayo. Kung paano mong pagkakasyahin, kung ano yung nandiyan. Pero hindi naman mahirap kasi meron ka nakatabi.
Tandaan ako, gusto ko makapag-ipon ng pera para sa darating na araw ng buhay ko at para sa aking mga anak. Talagang dapat magsikap. Magsikap. Hindi ka naman magsisisi kung makaipon ka eh.
This program is brought to you by
Welcome back. Perhaps the best gift before Christmas, a crown for the Philippines. We have less than a month until the Miss World Coronation Night on December 16, where Tracy Maureen Perez is set to represent the country. This year, Miss World Philippines is working with CNN Philippines and Upstream.ph to bring the global event to your screens. The pageant organization says Tracy has good chances of taking the title.
Pageant bloggers, local and international, saying that she has a big chance. Philippines is always in top of the mind of in different pageants, especially now that I think we got most of the crown this year. And I'm very positive that she can make it because she has a total package.
I think it's something to watch out for, especially yung mga Filipinos na nag-anticipate yung mga mahilig sa mga beauty pageant. Diba? So we want to be able to bring it to them live.
Find out more about Tracy's journey in the Winning the Crown special and catch the Miss World Coronation Night airing December 17th, only here on CNN Philippines. From one Netflix hit series to another, Squid Game's Park Hae-soo is stepping into the role of Berlin in the Korean version of Money Heist. The star talked about being a fan of the Spanish original and said he looks forward to their remake's 2022 release. Park also received a special gift from Berlin actor Pedro Alonso, the iconic Salvador Dali mask from the show.
한국판 종이집에서도 저희가 이 달리 마스크만큼이나 특별한 마스크를 쓰는데요. 내년 초에 한국판 종이집의 가면이 공개되면 저도 꼭 페드로님에게 그 가면을 선물로 보내드리도록 하겠습니다.
The final episodes of the original Money Heist come out this Friday. With December finally here, it looks like netizens are ready for the start of the holiday season and the end of the year. December 1 entered Twitter trends today. One person's tweet is more of a reminder. They're letting everyone know that they're already accepting Christmas gifts or pamasko. Meanwhile, this netizen spotted a reindeer missing out on the Christmas spirit this early in the month. And another post urges people to cap the year off with a merry disposition by starting the month with a smile. Happy December to everyone, and let's make the most out of our last adventures for 2021. We have 24 days left before Christmas, and that's it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Maya Rodriguez for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Gikan sa kagdumala o magkawani sa Radio Philippines Network Incorporated, RPN DXKS Radio Ronda. Malipayong Pasko o mabungahong bagong tuig kaninyong tanan.
Eating nutritious food plays a vital role in our overall health and well-being. And because of our fast-paced lives, most of us tend to lean on foods that are tasty yet convenient and accessible. More often than not, these are also not the healthiest. As a result, we develop poor eating habits that put us at risk of developing an array of health issues. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and you're watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. We're here to build a healthier future for you. nutrition is essential for keeping us healthy. It helps children grow and develop properly and reduces our risk for chronic diseases. To help us with today's discussion, let's welcome our guests. With us is Dr. Joy Fontanilla. She's an endocrinologist from St. Luke's Global. Also with us is Ms. Juvie Martillo C. She's the Chief Clinical Nutritionist Dietitian of Weight Management Section at the Asian Hospital and Medical Center. We often think of healthy eating as dieting. But this isn't always true. It's not about the strict limitations, staying unrealistically thin, and depriving yourself of the food you love. Rather, it's more about feeling great, having more energy, boosting your mood, and improving your overall health. Although it can sometimes get complicated, but it shouldn't be. Dr. Joy, I'll start with you first. Please help our audience understand the importance of good nutrition as opposed to just plainly eating.
Well, basically, we should all be eating to live, not living to eat. Healthy eating is all about having the right food choices, having a balanced diet. So one of the ways by which we can have a good healthy eating pattern is following the healthy eating plate or the pinggang Pinoy, where you can have different sorts of nutrients from various food groups.
Now, it seems like for every expert that would say that one type of food is good for you, you'll see another saying the complete opposite. Ms. Juvie, is it the specific foods that you eat that are important or your overall diet?
When we say overall diet, so we have to know the different types of nutrients. So meron tayong dalawang grupo na pinaka-importante, ayan yung macronutrients na binubuo ng carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. Ang protina naman ay ito yung grupo ng mga ulam natin, no? Mga meat, fish, chicken. Nagsisilbi naman na magandang support sa wound healing and it strengthens our muscles. So ito ay nagtutulungan para mapaganda or magamit natin yung pagiging malakas or yung functions ng macronutrients. So ito yung kompletong nutrients na nagtataglay para ma-maintain natin yung overall health well-being.
Now, the effects of poor nutrition can manifest as being overweight, obese, or even malnourished. Dr. Joy, please explain to us how our food choices may lead to these.
Have too much calories in our diet, you can have excess weight. So that can lead to having overweight and obesity. And if you're eating too little, then you can have underweight, or you can have, if you're burning more calories than you're taking in, then you're going to lose a lot of weight. So it's very important for people to have to control the portions of the food that they eat and pay attention to how much they eat. If they're not burning too much, like during this pandemic, people are not so physically active, they may not need as much calories as they were using up before.
Now, another cause for poor nutrition is ang natural pagtatanda ng isang tao. Ms. Juvie, pwedeng paki-explain ito kung bakit hindi maganda ang nutrisyon ng isang tao habang tumatanda?
So it depends on the amount of what we eat. For example, if it's too much protein, this would lead to a kidney disease related to too much protein intake. Kapag meron naman tayong lifestyle na matataas ang intake natin of sugary-rich foods, this would lead to elevation of the glucose level. So it would lead also to diabetes. So it depends on the lifestyle and also yung mga favorites natin na uncontrolled na kinakain ay talagang mag-lead to a specific disease. For example, also yung sa cardio problem natin, if you are fond of fatty-rich foods like uncontrolled appetite of having the mga red meats, yung mga lechong kawali, pata. So this would also lead to cardiovascular diseases. So it depends on the lifestyle of our childhood or middle age, and it would lead to a specific disease na based on our history of food history.
Now, since we're talking about yung mga nakatatanda, lalo na yung mga may maintenance na gamot, merong ibang mga gamot, maintenance na gamot, over-the-counter and prescription na gamot that can affect the appetite and interfere with nutrient absorption as well as metabolism. Ms. Juvie, paano kaya yung ganung situation? How can someone stay healthy while still being maintained with the medications that they need?
So we advise every individual, of course, to consult with our consultants, the physician, and if there are concerned related to nutrition or food sources, so the doctor will refer to the dietitian to explain everything about diet. If it's diabetic patient with the medications, we do our own collaboration of adjusting for example, insulin or other diabetic medications related to diet. So we are adjusting our computation with the carbohydrate requirement as well as the protein and fats. Kasi itong mga nutrients na to will still need a thorough computation that would align to the prescribed medications of our doctors.
Now, the pandemic is still ongoing, and one of the safety protocols in place is to not go to crowded places like the market. And of course, not everyone can order their groceries online. But Dr. Joy, with this in place, how can we easily access healthy food? What advice can you give?
Well, you just have to choose the foods that you buy. Try not to make junk food available in the house. Try to choose foods that are rich in nutrients and not in empty calories, etc., that have high calories but low in nutrients.
Poor nutrition can impair health and well-being and reduce our ability to lead a more pleasant and active life. More on this when we return. We're your connection to healthcare, and you're watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines.
Salamat, nagyaya ka na ulit. Salamat, liquor ba na lifted? Ito sa amin. Salamat, may bago tayong tropa. Salamat, tayo ay buhay pa. Salamat sa Primera Light, halina tikman. Primera klase ang Primera Light tinuman. Salamat, free! Drink responsibly.
Protektahi ang imong mga mata batok sa delikado ug makadaot nga ultraviolet nga silaw sa adlaw ug uban pa. Pinaagi sa pagsulob og eksakto nga prescription sa antiyohos o antipara. Likay ang mga simptomas sama sa hanap nga pananaw sa layo o duol nga basahon, sakit sa ulo ug uban pa nga makaapekto sa atong kahimsog nga ang hinungdan depekto sa atong mga mata. Alang sa kumpleto nga primary eye care, contact lenses, fashion eyewear, computer eyeglasses, sunglasses, accessories ug uban pa, adto kita sa AG Buñuel Optical Clinic. Ang AG Buñuel Optical Clinic nagpahinumdum kanato nga ang kahimsog sa atong mga mata usa ka prioridad nga angay ipa-check up kausa matag tuig aron pagsiguro nga luwas kita sa piligrong mga sakit. Pinaagi sa lisensyado og qualified optometrists nga maoy mo prescribe sa eksaktong kagamitan ug kung primary eye care ang paghisgutan. Duaw lang silang buhatan sa 3636 sa Nicolas Street, Surigao City ug adunay ilang extension office sa Aurelianida Street, Cantilan, Surigao del Sur. Ayaw kalimti higala, AG Buñuel Optical Clinic.
Ang AG Buñuel Optical Clinic doon na branch dito sa lungsod sa Dapa sa may Lupis Haina Street, Poblasyon Dapa, Surigao del Norte.
Ang AG Buñuel Optical Clinic dinhi sa siyudad ng Surigao no transfer na sa bag-ong location sa Nicolas Street Ragyahapon, tapad sa Garcia Hotel at bang sa Unicity. Ang Riverside Parts Master Incorporated na sa ilang bagong location sa Dalan, Burgos ning atong syudad. Mahimo niyong tawagan sa telephone number 231-7478 or 826-3663. Mga produkto nga inyong mapalit, genuine, Makita Power Tools sama sa planer, drill, grinder, Triton paints, construction supplies, angle bars, flat bars, GI pipes, automotive spare parts, Firefly electrical devices sama sa switches, bulbs ug outlets. Adto ang Riverside Parts Master Incorporated sa ilang bagong pwesto sa Dalan, Burgos ning syudad. Makahangyo ka o makabarato pagyod diha sa Riverside Parts Master Incorporated.
RPN Radio Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda DXKS Surigao, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Poor nutrition can affect our health and reduce our quality of life. In the short term, it can lead to stress, irritability, tiredness, our capacity to work, among others. But over time, it can increase your risk for developing certain health issues. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and you're watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. we're together in health. Poor eating habits include over or under eating, not having the healthy foods we need each day, or consuming too much of food and drinks that are high in sugar, salt, and even fat. Ms. Juvie, how does poor nutrition affect us?
Basically, it reduces our response or tolerance to our daily activities. No, if you don't have any energy, talagang very weak tayo to accomplish any task of the day. And also, if we are on the ongoing treatment with a specific disease, we have a poor response to overcome that treatment. And also, we have a poor wound healing process, and it reduces muscle strength and quality of life. And the common is it really increases fatigue. So yun yung mga common na talagang pagdadaanan natin if we really practice a poor nutrition daily.
Now, two of the leading causes of heart disease and stroke are high blood pressure and high blood cholesterol. Ms. Juvie, meron bang mga pagkain na dapat malaman ng ating mga viewers para ma-minimize yung dalawang ito, itong high blood pressure at high blood cholesterol?
Yes, so napaka-basic niya, no? So when we say high blood pressure, ayan yung mga salty foods or sodium-containing foods. So yan yung pinakasimpleng term na maaalat. So yan talaga yung nagli-lead na magpo-cause ng cardiovascular diseases natin as well as yung mga sa pagtaas ng high blood pressure natin.
Now, a poor diet can also increase some other chronic diseases, and specifically, I'd like to talk about type 2 diabetes. Dr. Joy, when it comes to type 2 diabetes, our viewers may have different understandings of these, but how early can someone have type 2 diabetes if their diet is not watched, even starting at an early age? How soon can someone have type 2 diabetes?
It's very shocking. Back in the 70s, it was almost unheard of for a child to get type 2 diabetes. These days, nagiging very common na talaga. Kahit bata, nagkakaroon na ng type 2 diabetes. Dahil nga sa kids are growing up to become more overweight and obese. These days, it's so easy. Children can just eat a lot of fast food and are mostly on their iPads or watching the television set or playing on their video games. And just are not more physically active these days. So it's so easy for children to get type 2 diabetes, even though before it was known to be adult onset diabetes. Now even young people can get.
So speaking of children, the brain develops most quickly during the first 1,000 days of life, from the start of pregnancy to the child's second birthday. Dr. Joy, how does poor nutrition affect a child's development naman?
Pangit ang nutrisyon ng bata. So all of these can be affected, their brain development, bone development, muscle development. The children's intelligence can be affected. Their level of energy can be affected. Hindi sila magiging masigla pag hindi tama yung nutrisyon ng mga bata. So it's very important to teach a child how to eat a balanced diet and to have healthy food instead of junk food in their daily lives.
Okay. Now, a poor diet is also a leading risk factor for gum disease as well as tooth decay. Now, we already know that eating a lot of sugary foods or sugary drinks can cause your teeth to get cavities, but there are also others that can be bad for dental health. Ms. Juvie, diet contribute dito sa poor oral health lalo na sa mga bata. What would you advise doon sa ibang mga parents na okay lang magpakain ng mga sugary foods na to sa bata, okay lang na mabulok since temporary teeth pa yan, hindi pa lumalabas yung kanilang permanent teeth? Anong masasabi niyo dito?
The way we advise the parents directly, sila yung talagang magko-control at mag-i-influence sa mga bata. So in our practice, we really educate the parents not to introduce as possible kasi talagang we have this number of specific months kaya ino-orient natin yung taste bud ng bata, But kapag toddler age na ang mga bata, familiarization na sila sa mga food items. So it's very parang kailangan maingat tayo every time na nag-i-introduce tayo ng food item. So we strongly recommend to introduce priority the healthy foods. So related to our dental health, no, sugar-rich food items are really one of the causes of mga tooth decay. So kailangan as in maingat tayo sa mga ganitong age ng mga bata dahil diyan natin sila ini-influence until they get older. So it's about discipline of the parents.
Okay. Now, diet doesn't only affect our physical well-being, but our mental health as well. Dr. Joy, can having a poor diet contribute to someone's mood? Can this contribute to actually being depressed?
You're absolutely right, Dr. Freddy. So there's certain foods that actually make you happy. There are certain foods that can get you down. So foods that are known to boost the mood, actually the healthier foods. So foods that are rich in fruit and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, omega-3 fatty acids, which you can get from fatty fish like salmon and tuna. Those foods can actually boost your mood. And junk food are foods that are highly processed, like your chips and your sugary foods, foods that are high in sweet desserts, you have refined cereals, high-fat foods. Those can actually increase risk for depression.
Now, eating healthy and breaking bad habits don't happen overnight. When we return, we'll guide you through the steps to good nutrition. Your health is our mission. This is MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines.
Maayong balita sa tanan sa atong panginahanglan sa panimalay, mga gamit, ingon man mga dekorasyon, pwede na natong mapalit diha sa Wellington Bazaar. Anausab sa Wellington Bazaar ang mga bestidahon, karsunison, plain t-shirt, plastic chair, floor mat, mantel, banig, folding bed, habol, mosketero, trapal, lideret, basketball, stuffed toys ug mga dulaan sa bata. Ang Wellington Bazaar ana magalagad kanato sa Dalan Kaimo ning Dakbayan sa Surigao. Wellington Bazaar, gikan sa mga kawani og tigdumala sa Wellington Bazaar. Maayong adlaw alang kaninyo. Wellington Bazaar, sukion ta sa kanunay.
Ay, kasakit kit sa ako ang mga mata. Uy, labad pagyud kay ako ang ulo. Murag kog malipong ba? Unya, murag limtanon pagyud ko. Unsaon man ni uy?
Naa na gyud kay problema, miss. Ha? Tanawa gud nagsakay ka sa tricycle, wala kay suot bra. Para masolba na imo problema. Pag inom man ni Lutein Plus.
Unsa? Lutein Plus? Asa man nimo gikan?
Ako man ninadunggan sa radyo, miss. Mao kang kapalit ko naan pagpagandam ba.
Sige, salamat kaayo ha. Magpalit dayon ko og Lutein Plus.
RPN Radio Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda DXKS Surigao, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Eating healthy is about balance and making sure your body gets the nutrients it needs to function properly. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and you're watching MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines, where your care always comes first. You don't have to be perfect right away when you switch to a healthy diet. You don't need to change everything all at once and completely eliminate the foods you used to love eating. Now, this only leads to cheating or even giving up. A better approach is to make a few small changes at a time. Dr. Joy, when it comes to someone wanting to change for the better, can you give us some tips on how to do that, how to start that on that road to good nutrition?
Asking the patient what can they do, and trying to find out what are the foods that they habitually eat, and trying to sort out what are the healthy foods and the unhealthy foods that they're actually eating. So try to lessen the unhealthy ones and increase the healthy ones. So if they're drinking a lot of soda, cut out the soda or try to limit the soda. And if they like vegetables and fruit, to increase intake of fruits and vegetables. So I always tell my patients, high five. Remember, high five. At least 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit a day. Which can help you get a better nutrition in your life.
Now, cooking more meals at home can help you take charge of what you're eating and monitor what goes into your food. You'll eat fewer calories and avoid unhealthy additives of packaged and takeout foods that can leave you feeling bloated as well as tired. Miss Juvie, pwede mo kaming i-walk through kung paano ang maganda at madaling preparasyon ng masustansyang pagkain sa bahay.
So, considering na wala tayong time na paano magluto or what, but meron naman tayong mga possible strategies. When you purchase grocery items, you can have alternatives like sandwiches, preparation, instead of cooking of certain meals. You can have your cereals with milk and fruit slices, yung easy to prepare. And also you can have prepare or mga cheese sticks natin or salad to go with a separate sauce or rice bowl na possible na alternative ay yung mga steamed or baked potatoes, sweet potato. So yun yung mga, it's about time management kasi kailangan talaga ng effort to prepare even if we don't need to have a cooking preparation. So it's just about proper selection in the grocery and prepare it, stock it, or store it in our home. As long as you can grab it, for example, cereals, just pour non-fat milk and you can add slices of fruit that would be considered healthy. So yan yung mga simple na pwede natin bilhin na hindi natin alam na healthy pa rin pala na kaya natin mag-prepare without cooking preparation. But we really recommend na we should have a time for a cooking preparation kasi we can easily modify the salt, the level of addition of salt, and also yung pagiging oily ng food natin. If we do that in our home, we can modify it into a healthy preparation.
We hope you found our discussion today helpful. Thank you, endocrinologist Dr. Joy Fontanilla and clinical nutritionist dietitian Ms. Juvie Martilius-C. Eating a healthier diet doesn't have to be complicated. Instead of counting calories, you can try thinking of your diet in terms of color, freshness, and variety. Try eating foods that's close as possible to the way nature made it. Focus on avoiding packaged and processed food and opt for more fresh ingredients whenever possible. It can make huge differences to the way you look, feel, as well as think. We want to be your partner for a lifetime of good health. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and this has been MedTalk Health Talk on CNN Philippines.
Radio Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda.